Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelly and this is Yaya Simple Living. So I just uploaded recently my 5 DIY pantry mixes that you can use instead of spending money at the store. So because your girl's thrifty, she also has 5 DIY baking mixes for you. So that's what we're gonna do today. So these baking mixes that you can buy at the store, while they're convenient, they are expensive and they have a lot of ingredients that, I don't know about you, but I have a hard time pronouncing them, and I don't want to eat something that I have a hard time pronouncing. So today we are going to do 5 DIY baking mixes that you can make ahead of time, have on your shelf. So if you decide you need a dessert for dinner, or you're going to a family function or a potluck and somebody asks you to bring something, you have these baking mixes ready to go and your game is on point. So we're going to do a DIY all-purpose baking mix, which is a copycat of Bisquick, and it's going to be shelf stable because we're going to use sustainable palm fruit shortening in it, not the hydrogenated regular shortening like Crisco. We're gonna make a muffin mix that you can adapt when you go to make the muffins to whatever flavor muffins you want. You can add crushed up or smashed bananas, pureed bananas. Anyway, you can add dry fruit, frozen fruit, you can add chocolate chips, whatever your heart desires for these muffins. If you're looking for something quick for breakfast, this is your go-to. We're also gonna do a chocolate chip cookie mix, but you can omit the chocolate chips and you can just do a plain cookie mix, and that way when you go to bake them, you can add whatever add-ins you want. We're gonna do a brownie mix. And what is the last thing we're gonna do? Let's see. Oh, we're gonna do a yellow cake mix. So if this sounds like something that would interest you, go ahead and stick around and let's get started. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the thumbs up notification if you like this video. But make sure that you subscribe because I'm gonna have lots more convenient pantry stable items coming up. And I have a new series started that's called Pantry Roulette, which is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to take 3 random ingredients and we're going to make something out of them. So, and when that time comes, I'm going to have you guys list in those comments what 3 ingredients you want to see me make something out of. So, all right, so let's get started on our DIY baking mixes. Okay guys, so our first baking mix, we are going to make homemade Bisquick mix. And this is going to be shelf stable because we are using palm fruit shortening that I got from Azure Standard. And the difference between like Crisco and palm fruit shortening is hydrogenized. I can't pronounce that word. Hydrogenated? Anyway. And this particular palm fruit is rainforest friendly and it is from sustainable sources. So, and it is organic as well. And if you guys are interested in Azure Standard, go ahead and let me know and I will put my link down in the comment box. And then if you order from Azure Standard, you will get your own link to share with family and friends as well. And then you can get, I think if somebody orders $100 worth of products using your link, you get a $25 credit, but then they will also get their link. So anyway, so we are going to do, first we're going to do 6 cups of flour, and I am going to try and use my food processor because I think that will be easier to cut the shortening in. I'm just not sure if I'm going to be able to fit all of the flour and stuff in here, but I'm going to try. So let me get my measuring cups out here first. Okay, so 6 cups of all-purpose flour. There's 1. 2. This might be 3. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the 3 and then I'm going to add the palm fruit shortening in. So I'm going to need a cup of palm fruit shortening. And then this will stay shelf stable for 6 months on your shelf. So if you use Bisquick, and then I also will tell you what the ingredients are in Bisquick versus what we're doing here. Okay. It's not going all the way down here. Let me get that pressed down in there. Make sure we get a whole cup. All right, we're going to put that in. You can also do this, you can cut it in with a pastry cutter, pastry blender, I guess they're called. So let's do this. Put the lid on this real quick. Get this cut in just a little bit. Ooh, all this flour is flying out the back. I'm just pulsing it. Okay. Oops. Okay, so I'm done with my palm fruit shortening. Let me put this away. And I did 3 cups of flour. So let me do another 3 cups of flour. There's 4. Oh no, guys, it's going to be pretty close. 5. Can she do it? No, she cannot. I am not even going to try here. Alright, I'm going to switch this to a bowl because that was an epic fail. But you know what? Real life, guys. So how much was that? That was 5 cups, right? Okay. Put that there. Okay, let me get all of this goodness out. Put that over there. And you will get this done here. Okay. So if you're making, you could cut the recipe in half and do it, but your girl likes to experiment. All right, so 1 last cup of flour. Okay, there's our 6 cups of flour. Then the next thing we're going to do, and I'm going to put all these recipes down below for you guys. We're going to need 3 tablespoons of baking soda and a tablespoon of sugar. And baking soda? Baking powder. There's 1, 2, 3. And a tablespoon of sugar. I just put that lid on weird. And a teaspoon of salt. Okay, let me grab my pastry cutter. And I'm going to go ahead and move all this out of your way so you can see what I'm doing. need to keep a lot of this out because we're going to need it for our other baking mixes that we're going to be making today. Okay. Oops, sorry for the loud noise. Okay, that noise was better. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and continue cutting this in. And we want it to resemble like a cornmeal maybe? And then you can use this recipe for anything that you would use Bisquick for, whether it's biscuits or cheeseburger pie. Some people use it for muffins, but we're going to make a muffin mix. We just want that palm fruit shortening to be cut in really well. Okay, and then to use this, for biscuits, we're going to do 2 cups of the milk, or 2 cups of the mix, a cup of milk, and we're going to bake them 425 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes. But you can also go on to the Bisquick website and get a whole bunch of recipes. And like I said, you would just do this the same way that you would use Bisquick. Except that ours doesn't have all of the extra ingredients like preservatives and things. So well, I'm going to do a different, let me get a whisk here. Make sure everything is well incorporated, well mixed in. Okay, and let me get my container that I'm going to be putting this in. Okay, let me get my funnel. And again, this is just really nice. So I'm going to read you the ingredients here in just a second of the Bisquick. Ooh, I wonder if this half-gallon one is even going to be enough. It should be, though. It should be enough. Can I do this without making a huge mess? And again, this is going to be a whole lot less expensive than going and buying those boxes of biscuit mix at the store. Okay. Oops. It's going to fit. I'm going to make it fit. It's okay. There you go. All right. So, 1 baking mix down, 4 to go. Please hold, let me get reset, and we will move on to our next one. I almost forgot to read you the ingredients in Bisquick. So I don't actually have any Bisquick, but I was at the store the other day and I took a picture of a Bisquick box. So the ingredients are enriched flour, bleach, which has wheat flour, niacin, iron, thiamine, mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid, cornstarch, which is usually GMO, vegetable oil, palm, sunflower, canola, and or high oleic soybean oil, leavening agents, which are baking soda, monocalcium phosphate, sodium aluminum phosphate, dextrose, sugar, salt, monoglycerides. Contains wheat ingredients. So I used organic flour, organic palm oil, baking powder, sugar, which was pure cane sugar, and Redmond's real salt, so it still has all the minerals in it. So, and the label says, and I don't know if you can see this here, the very bottom, contains bioengineered food ingredients. Okay, ew. Anyway, mine does not contain any bioengineered food ingredients. So there's that. All right, so let's get reset and I'll bring you guys back. Okay, so for our next recipe, we are going to be doing chocolate chip cookie mix. And I mean, you can do any kind of cookie mix. You could do just, if you want, you could just leave out the chocolate chips on here, and then you could make any kind of cookie that you want when you make it. You could add peanut butter when you make them. You could add like dried fruit, nuts, whatever you want. I'm going to be doing the chocolate chips and just adding them in there. But I do have a package of Betty Crocker peanut butter cookie mix. So, so in this, it's enriched flour, which is wheat flour, niacin, iron, thiamine, mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid. Then there's sugar, brown sugar, peanut butter, which has peanuts, dextrose, hydrogenated canola and cottonseed oil, palm oil, baking soda, salt, non-fat milk. Contains wheat, peanut milk, may contain egg and soy ingredients. Ingredients derived from a bioengineered source. Right there at the bottom. Ours, on the other hand, are not going to be from bioengineered sources. So the first thing we are going to need is 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Grab my cup measuring here. And then this is going to be just for a single batch of the cookie mix. So you can make multiple batches and just store them separately. You can store them in Ziploc bags. You can store them in mason jars, whatever is convenient for you. I am probably going to be storing these in mason jars just because it's easier for me. Oh, I'm going to grab some more all-purpose flour. All right, so I have 1 cup in there. And I need a total of 2 1/4 cups. There's 2 and 1/4. Okay, then the next ingredient is going to be a teaspoon of baking soda. And then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And 3/4 cup of packed brown sugar. Now I make my own brown sugar. Where's my 1/4 cup? Right here. I make my own brown sugar by just doing cane sugar and molasses. And if you guys are interested in that recipe or interested in seeing me do that, go ahead and leave me a comment below and let me know, and I will do a video on that as well. So there's 1/4. 2/4, and then when you do your own brown sugar, you can make it as light or as dark as you want it. And 3 3/4. Okay. Did I say 2/4? 1/2. Sorry. I get doing this mindlessly. And then we're going to do a 1/2 cup of white sugar. And I'm just going to use the 1/4 cup measuring because I have it out. Okay. 1/4, 1/2. Okay. And then a cup of chocolate chips. But let me get this all mixed up first. And I am going to use my metal whisk because I think it mixes better. Okay. And hopefully it won't make a lot of noise against the glass for you guys. I like to mix all this up. You could layer this in a mason jar. with everything. And then when you go to make these, you're going to add 3/4 of a cup of melted butter. Now, if you're going to use salted butter, you're going to want to omit the salt from your recipe. If you're using unsalted butter, then you can add the salt into the recipe. So it just depends. So when you go to bake these, you're going to add 3/4 of a cup of melted butter, 1 egg plus 1 egg yolk, a teaspoon of vanilla, and you're going to bake them 350 for 10 to 12 minutes. Okay, and that is lovely and all mixed up. And then we're going to do our 1 cup of chocolate chips. And again, you can leave these out if you want, whatever you want. Get my 1/4 or my 1 cup measuring. You can use different flavors of chocolate chips if you want. You could use white chips. You could use mint chips for the holidays, peppermint chips, peanut butter chips, whatever you like. I'm going to get this mixed in. Okay, and let me get a jar to put this in. Hold on one sec. All right, so I got these super cute jars at the Dollar Tree that I'm going to use. And actually, why am I picking that up? I'm going to scoop it in there. All right, and this lid just screws right on. Whoops. It's got, and there you have it. There's our cookie mix. These would be cute jars too to use if you want to make like somebody for Christmas, you want to make them pre-made cookie mix. This would be cute too. All right, so there's that. There's 2 down. We're getting there, guys. Okay, let me get set up for our next recipe. Word finding issues. Okay, so we're going to get set up for our next recipe, and I think we'll do brownie mix next. So please hold. Actually, no, I think we'll do muffin mix. We'll do the brownie mix last. Okay, so muffin mix. So let me get reset here and we'll do the muffin mix. Okay, and I'm going to put all these recipes down below so you don't have to worry. Okay, so for our muffin mix, we're going to do 4.5 cups of all-purpose flour. There's 1. 2. 3. 4. And 1/2 cup. Where's my 1/2 cup? 1/2 cup. Okay. And then we're going to do a teaspoon of, nope, I'm sorry, 1.5 cups of sugar. And again, I'm using pure cane sugar, and I may have to refill my little container here. So there's 1. Let me refill my container and I will finish that up. What did I say, 1/2 cup? Yep. Okay. And again, this is pure cane sugar that I get from Azure Standard. Okay, then we're going to do a tablespoon of baking powder. Here's my opened baking powder. And half a teaspoon of salt. Okay, and that is it for that one. Oh, there it is. So let's mix this up. And then on these, again, when you make them, you're going to take 2 cups of the mix, 1 egg, 3/4 of a cup of milk, and 1/4 cup of oil. And you can also add in any kind of add-ins that you want. If you want chocolate chip muffins, you're going to add chocolate chips. If you want blueberry muffins, you're going to add blueberries. You can do frozen fruit. You can do dried fruit. This is just ready-made, and this is going to make about 2 batches of muffins. So let me get a container to put this in. And again, all these recipes are going to be down in the description. So let me get a container to put this in as well. Okay, let's get this put away. What do we have now? 3 down? 2 to go. What kind of baking mixes do you guys use from the store? Or do you make everything from scratch? I like to make stuff from scratch. Honestly, number one, I just find it easier. But also, I just like to be able to control the ingredients that go in it. Because as you can tell, the one consistent thing in all of the mixes that I've gotten from the store so far have been bioengineered baking ingredients, which to me is just weird. Okay, put our lid on that. Okay, so 3 down. And I did get some baking mix, so let me read you those ingredients. I just got a chocolate chip muffin mix. And the ingredients are enriched bleached flour, which is wheat flour, niacin, reduced iron, thiamine, mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid. Sugar, semi-sweet chocolate chips, which have sugar, chocolate liquor, cocoa butter, soy lecithin, natural flavor. Dextrose, canola and or soybean oil, contains 2% less of leavening, which is baking soda, sodium aluminum phosphate. It has propylene glycol esters of fatty acids, modified cornstarch, calcium carbonate, mono and diglycerides, salt, cornstarch, sodium steroyl, lactylate, wheat starch, niacin, reduced iron, vitamin B6, hydrochloride, BHT, and citric acid for antioxidants, riboflavin, thiamine mononitrate, and vitamin B12. Then it says below, contains soybean and wheat ingredients, may contain egg and milk ingredients, contained a bioengineered food ingredient. Once again, ours does not. So look at us go. All right, let me move that to the side now. And we'll go on to our next baking mix, which is going to be a yellow cake mix. So let me get set up and we'll be back to do that one. All right, next up is yellow cake mix. So 2½ cups of all-purpose flour. Get my knife to level this. 1, 2, and ½ cup. Half cup. Okay, so 2½, then 1½ cups of sugar. I always put the lid on weird on this container. Okay, 3.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Baking powder. I'm almost done with this container, so let me use this one first. Here is my 1/2 teaspoon. I said teaspoon, right? Yep. Right? Yes, 3.5 teaspoons. So there's a 1/2 teaspoon. Here's 1, 2. I'm out. Let me open my new container. And here's 3. Okay. Okay, and then a teaspoon of salt. And 1/2 cup of dry milk powder, which is optional. Hang on 1 second. Let me grab my milk powder. And it is 1/2 cup. Okay. And I'm using whole milk powder. Smell it. Okay. All right, so let me get this all stirred together. And to do this, you're going to add, when you go to bake this, you're going to add 1/2 cup of butter. And again, because we put salt in, you want to use unsalted butter. 3 eggs, a cup of water or milk, and I would use water since we put the milk powder in here, and a teaspoon of vanilla. And you're going to bake it at 350 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. And there you have a yellow cake mix. So next time your kid comes home from school and says, "Oh, Mom, we're having a bake sale tomorrow," or whatever, you have one ready and on the shelf that you just have to whip up real quick. Okay, so let me grab the container for this, and then we'll clean up and move on to our last baking mix. Okay, please hold. All right, and I'm gonna put this also in one of my little Dollar Tree containers because I think they're so cute. And then this is going on my pantry shelf. Now you can do a couple of these at a time. I'm just doing one at a time because just to show you guys, because you know, it's just me here. And I usually bake for like family gatherings. So, and there is our yellow cake mix ready to go on the shelf. All right, I'm gonna get cleaned up and we're gonna do our last recipe, which is going to be a brownie mix. So hold on just a sec. All right, so for our brownie mix, we're gonna do 1 cup of flour. We're gonna do 2 cups of sugar. Never said it was healthy. I mean, it is more healthy than, oh, I need to read you guys the cake mix. Okay, wait. So 2 cups of sugar, 3/4 of a cup of cocoa powder. Grab my cocoa powder. And I'm using a Dutch cocoa powder. What did I say, 3/4? 3/4. Where's my little quarter cup? Okay. So there's 1, 2, 3. And this is unsweetened, which is why you need the sugar. Then we're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. And half a teaspoon of salt. And then when you bake these, you could add chocolate chips, nuts, whatever you want to it. But to bake them, you're going to add 3/4 of a cup of melted butter. And again, we used salt in here, so you're probably going to want to use unsalted butter. If you're going to use salted butter, then just omit the salt in the mix. 3 eggs and a teaspoon of vanilla, and you're going to bake it at 350 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. Get all these lumps taken care of. And you know, if you're looking for a quick dessert for dinner or just a treat, if you have these already made and on your shelf, all you have to do is just add the other ingredients and bake it. So your dry ingredients are already measured out for you. All right, and I'm going to also put this in one of those cute little Dollar Tree containers. So if there are other baking mixes that you would like me to try and make for you to help so that you have stuff ready to go, because I'm all about planning ahead to make things easier. Oops, I just hit my camera here. Sorry, guys. Okay, so there's that. Like that. And then I'm going to label all these and put the directions on there in off camera. All right, guys, so let me get all of this stuff out of the way here real quick. Let me grab the cake mix and the brownie mix so I can read you those ingredients as well. All right, so the cake mix. And again, I just had a butter pecan cake mix in my cupboard, so we're just going to go with that even though we made a yellow cake mix. The ingredients are, oh, what do you know? Contains bioengineered food ingredients. Enriched flour, we've already gone over that. Sugar, corn syrup, baking soda, sodium aluminum phosphate, monocalcium phosphate. Contains 2% or less of modified cornstarch, propylene glycol, mono and diesters, salt, monoglycerides, palm oil, diacalcium phosphate, sodium stearoyl, lactylate, xanthan gum, cellulose gum, color added, natural and artificial flavors. So, bioengineered food. All right, on the brownies, what do we got? We have, ooh, it doesn't say contain bioengineered. We have sugar, enriched bleached wheat flour, cocoa powder, processed with alkali, palm oil, contains less than 2%, dextrose, salt, sodium bicarbonate, artificial flavor, wheat starch. I don't even know what that is. So these are actually a little bit better, but ours doesn't have any of those ingredients. So there you have it, guys. All right, let me get cleaned up and I'll come back with my outro. All right, guys, so here is our 5 mixes. We have our Bisquick mix, our muffin mix, brownie mix, yellow cake mix, and chocolate chip cookie mix. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel. Go ahead and smash that thumbs up notification button so that the algorithm knows that you like this video. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.